Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Communication Podcast, where we help you become a more confident and competent communicator. Thank you for tuning in once again, and today I want to talk about my experience going into a business dinner, primarily for business students, but upon recommendation from my professor, I really thought I should go check it out. And that's where I met Marlene Dietz, the first lady of my university, Illinois State, and more importantly, a leading expert in the communication leadership field, where she has hosted hundreds of workshops in improving leadership communication from small businesses to mid-range organizations. Before diving into the actual networking event I attended, I just want to give you guys some context of why I am so passionate about this subject and why I want to help you become a better communicator. You see, I am early on in my career, but I have been a mentor for several of my peers, especially those that have trouble assimilating into American culture. To give you some perspective, I was one of those kids in high school that had an insecurity with talking to others. I would have rather eaten alone at a table by myself to save myself the embarrassment of meeting new people. I was always the nervous Nelly, but eventually I got fed up with not having friends and with not being able to come across as confident to people. This insecurity drove me to study all I could on communication. To give you an example of this, one time I was walking around my local mall looking for clothes. I happened upon a hot topic. This was the year right before I started high school. I walked into the Hot Topic and the employee cordially said, "Hi, what's up? Welcome to Hot Topic." Well, a normal person would have just responded, "What's up? How you doing?" And then the employee would have said, "Doing good," and everyone would have moved on with your day. But I was so insecure with my communication that in the back of my mind, I had the flight or fight response, and all I could think to do was run. I literally didn't answer him and ran behind a wall of t-shirts. Now, if that didn't scream insecurity with communication, I don't know what does. Now that I'm older and I'm a senior in college, I have learned so much that has been so helpful for my confidence, and I really feel compelled to share this with you so we can all learn together and become the best confident, competent communicators we can be. This dinner was one that I, early on in my career, assumed that it was only available to college business students. But after doing my due diligence, I found out that communication students can go as well. So I figured, why not? The venue was large. It was one of those nervous situations where you're standing in an extensive conference room, looking around for people to network with before everyone sat down to eat a fancy dinner. At the designated round table, elegant decor and a beautiful plate of cheesecake were awaiting me. Naturally, before I walked in the hall, I was nervous, but all was good. I just bought my first navy suit and I was looking sharp. I even got a pocket square. Bam! I went to go check in, and all of a sudden the lady said my name was not on the list. But no, I was not going to give up. To make a long story short, after a series of unfortunate events where they couldn't find a seat for me, my name wasn't on the list, etc., I finally got my seat and was surrounded by marketing students, which I have ever seen before in my life. But that was okay because we were all in the same boat. We were nervous and we were there to grow. I always try to keep in mind if something can go wrong in an event, it usually does. We can't control what happens, but we can control is having the courage to push through. Having that determination not only allowed me to meet the keynote speaker of the event, but I also got to learn a few essential concepts from the keynote speaker, Marlene Dietz, we should all use to increase our communication skills. By using the 5 core competencies I have synthesized from the speech, we can learn ways to improve our overall communication skills. The first is tonality. The way you enunciate, the way you speak. Do you have excitement in your voice? Do you sound monotone when you talk? Do you find when you're speaking about something, people lose interest? That is a great sign that you need to work on your tonality. The second core competency Mrs. Dietz talked about was building a bridge, i.e. making a connection when you first start talking to someone. So Think of a time when you've been at a party or a social situation where somebody just started talking about the weather. Why is that a good thing? Because everyone experiences it, it happens to everyone, and everyone has an opinion on it. Building a bridge is important. It makes that first initial contact that leads to the third important concept, having a dialogue. So are you listening to what the person is saying and formulating an opinion on it? Because that's very vital to having a dialogue. Nobody likes being lectured at and then having the person just walk away or lose interest. That's why it's so important to actively listen and have a response ready when talking to someone. Which is why listening skills is the fourth important concept we all need to be aware of. Actively listen. Don't just think of the response you're going to say, but also take into consideration what the person is talking about. If you need a minute, just tell them, "Hey, that was an awesome thought. Can you give me a second to think about it? Wow, that was amazing. I need a moment to think about that." Or just use the silence and look at them with your eye contact. Which leads into our fifth and final most important skill we all need to work on, our nonverbal communication skills, our body language, our eye contact. A lot of people don't understand that 93% of all of our communication as human beings is nonverbal. Do you give someone eye contact when you're speaking with them? Do you use your hands as symbols to help carry your message? Do you tap someone on the shoulder to get their attention or make sure they're paying attention during the conversation? All of these things can be utilized as tools to help you build that bridge and create that dialogue that is so necessary to become a better communicator. Fortitude is the strength of mind that enables a person to encounter danger or bear pain or adversity with courage. And that's what we want to keep in mind. Communicate with confidence, be confident, and have the courage to go through a tough social situation and leave lasting, brilliant ideas with your peers or your new prospective friends that will leave you feeling great after you leave that networking event. We all want to exude fortitude when stepping into a tumultuous social situation. That is why it is so essential we practice these communication skills. I want to leave you with a lasting thought from Mrs. Dietz. You can have all the brilliant ideas you want, but they are not important if you can't communicate them. Thank you for listening again to my communication and self-improvement podcast. I look forward to talking to you and sharing concepts in the future. Sign.